Divine Reflection is one of the coolest abilities anyone can have in fiction. The ability to copy your opponent's moves and send them right back even better than they can has to be one of the biggest flexes ever, and that's why today I decided I would give Naruto just that, by giving him the Lord's Eyes, which are basically Sharingan on steroids. So if you're excited to see Naruto surpass Kakashi the Copy Ninja, then stay tuned to the end of the video. But for those of you who have already seen the last two parts, which, you're absolute legends, skip to this timestamp on the video. But with all that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, do all that usual YouTube stuff to help the video do so much better in the algorithm, and enjoy. Shikamaru Nara? Present. Ino Yamanaka? I'm here. Shino Aburame? Shino Aburame? Finally, he would turn to see a young boy with glasses who would nod at him, as Iruka-sensei would say, alright, he's here. Choji Akimichi? Here! Hinata Hyuga, I'm here. Sakura Haruno, here. Sasuke Uchiha? Sasuke would slowly lift his hand before Iruka would finally get to the roll call of the final student, as he would say, Naruto Uzumaki. And you would just hear nothing but a very, very silent here, which would actually be masked by all of his other classmates who would currently be speaking to each other. Iruka-sensei would once more say, Naruto Uzumaki! As suddenly, Naruto begins to slowly lift his hand in a very shy manner, as Iruka would say, there you are, speak up next time. As everybody in the classroom would begin to make fun of Naruto with the exception of Hinata and Sasuke, as suddenly, Iruka would go on to explain that with that, roll call is finished and now they can finally get down to being ninjas. Everybody in the class would begin to get super excited, seeing as this is their first time learning ninja things. So they would all make their way outside towards a training course where Iruka would show them around to a very, very specific event where they were going to be throwing shuriken and kunai and running a lap, seeing how fast they can do it and how many targets they can actually hit. Suddenly, everybody in the classroom would go and take part of this event in the same order that everybody was called in when they were taking the attendance, until finally, Naruto Uzumaki would be called up. But there'd be something different about Naruto in this timeline, because this version of Naruto isn't the same knuckle-headed ninja, the loud-mouthed shinobi that we all know and love. This version of Naruto is different because of the simple fact that this Naruto was born with a dojutsu, which is eerily similar to that of the Sharingan, except it's on literal steroids. This thing has the capabilities of helping Naruto copy things upon one glance. Not many, he sees one thing one time and he can immediately copy it. That is, if his body is able to keep up with the technique. And this doesn't just restrict him to physical attacks or some nature transformation ninjutsu. This pretty much ranges from everything from Sage Mode to Kekkei Genkai to Six-Path Sage Mode techniques. All of it, the works. Naruto could do everything with these eyes that are seemingly the most busted dojutsu in the entire Naruto series to date. Naruto at this moment, after having seen all of his classmates take part of this event, his eyes would have actually ended up tracking their movements and taking the best part of each one of them, including Sasuke Uchiha, who would have ended up getting the best marks on this test from everybody. And as everybody would be praising Sasuke, telling him he did so great, suddenly Naruto would step forward before getting into a perfect stance and rushing throughout this entire course, throwing the shuriken and kunai even better than Sasuke did and completing it 2 seconds before him, as everybody would suddenly begin staring at Naruto, and some of the guys in the classroom would actually start kind of praising Naruto, saying that was awesome, asking him if he can teach them a couple of things sometime, as Naruto for the very first time would finally feel accepted. It would be in this moment that Sasuke staring at Naruto would begin getting very jealous at him because he was supposed to be the strongest one in the classroom, but whatever Sasuke would think. Suddenly, after this would happen, Iruka would go on to congratulate everybody as the praise would finally end, and it would have only lasted about 10 seconds, as finally Iruka would go on to explain to them that now they're going to be taking place in hand-to-hand combat battles, explaining that these fights are only going to be sparring sessions, so they're not meant to be taken too seriously. Suddenly, everybody else in the classroom would end up facing off against each other until finally the last two contestants would be up, Sasuke and Naruto. And the reason for Iruka pairing the two of them together was because both of them did seemingly close to each other when it came to the last event, so he would think to himself that maybe, just maybe they'd be able to offer a good challenge to each other. And so, Naruto, feeling happy that he was placed off against Sasuke to show the students the rest of the stuff that he can do, since Naruto knows that ever since he was a kid, he's always been an extremely fast learner. Unfortunately for him, he had nobody to show him things, nobody to show off techniques, nobody he could mimic a fighting style of. So Naruto at this point would pretty much be a blank canvas, having not copied anything really other than some basic normal skills from everyday life, you know what I mean? But because of this, we would finally begin the battle, and Sasuke would instantly start the fight by throwing a kick at Naruto, which Naruto would easily track using his dojutsu before blocking it with one arm and sending Sasuke back using all of the strength that he could muster. Sasuke in this moment would begin to jump up into the air as he would throw 2 shuriken at the direction of Naruto, who, seeing them coming at him, would actually dodge out of the way, but one of them would actually nick him right on the shirt as it would graze him. Sasuke would come back in before throwing a tornado kick, and it would actually end up landing on Naruto, sending him flying down on the ground as Naruto would flip back up, having seen Sasuke do it, to pretty much like doing it before, because I was like, wait, he hasn't done it in this battle, so let's just say that he saw it being done by one of the other students, because that just makes more sense, you know what I mean? So Naruto sees this, does this flip, you know what I mean? And right after he would do this, Sasuke, seeing this, would be like, let's see what he does, as Naruto in this moment would jump up into the air and try to perform the same tornado kick that Sasuke would have used on him, but he would completely fail at it. He would be completely unable to do what Sasuke had done previously, and Naruto would land on the ground as he would have actually ended up like spraining his hip, because he wasn't able to be flexible enough to actually pull the move off, meaning that this would be the first time that Naruto's body would hold him back from doing the thing that his mind thought he could do. So it would be kind of like one of those things where if you guys have ever tried to do a backflip, you can't do it because you can't jump high enough, and then also some people can't do it because of that mental block of like, dude, I don't want to get hurt, and that's completely normal. But in this case, Naruto just straight up can't do it. His body can't keep up. Actually, I think a better example of that would be something like a dunk. Like everybody wants to be able to do it, and you kind of understand that all you have to do is jump up really high, but your body, it just can't. If you can't jump high enough, you can't jump high enough, you know what I mean? But yeah, it would be something like that. And after this would happen, Sasuke, seeing Naruto on the ground, would actually slightly feel bad for him, but would also feel kind of disrespected in a sense, because Naruto just attempted to do a move that Sasuke's been practicing for years, and he didn't think that Naruto would have even came close, but from what he saw, Naruto nearly would have had it had he have been flexible enough. This would cause Sasuke to, be very proud about his victory. And right after this would happen, Naruto would get up as he would dust himself off, only to see that Sasuke was getting praised for that move, was getting praised for his strength, and all of the people around him seemed to like him so much better than him, while he was just sitting there in the dust and nobody paid attention to him. Nobody cared about picking him up. So this would make Naruto realize one thing. In this world, the only thing that matters was strength. And Naruto, coming to this epiphany, would actually have a massive character change he would undergo, as this timeline's Naruto wouldn't think, oh, I want to become Hokage so that everybody will have to respect me. No, it wouldn't be anything like that. Naruto's goal now is to become the strongest ninja there ever was, because Naruto thinks strength is the only thing that matters, and if his strength could be absolute, then he would pretty much be able to do whatever he wants, and he'll finally be treated like a person. You know what I mean? And that's really all that Naruto wanted, because in this timeline, this little moment, this little 10-second interaction with his classmates would have been one of the only times in Naruto's life that he genuinely felt he was important, like he mattered, like people could see him and not hate him. Because in this specific timeline, because of Naruto's dojutsu, Naruto would have been born with seemingly bluish eyes with a fat hue of red on them. And if you guys don't know what hue means, it basically is just like a little glow of red. So that's what Naruto's eyes look like, just like the ones in the thumbnail. So this would mean that all of the villagers would be able to have more fuel to the fire. This means that not only now does Naruto have these whiskers that they attribute to the Nine-Tails Fox, but now he even has red eyes. And this would cause the villagers to hate Naruto even more, leading to him having this more, reserved personality where he was quiet and shy, because whenever he would speak up, he would be told to shut up, that he was a demon, that he was a monster, that he didn't belong here, that he should just die already. That's the stuff Naruto was used to hearing, and he would break down and cry most nights. But Now, Naruto finally had a goal, something to strive for, and he would show everybody that he was going to be the strongest. So now, Naruto would begin training using his dojutsu ability and working on his body so that now he'll finally be able to go through and use moves that he didn't think were even possible. Naruto from this day forward would begin training on his strength, doing a bunch of push-ups, a bunch of sit-ups, a bunch of handstands, punching at trees for hours on end, kicking at trees for hours on end, and even doing flexibility training so his body could move in such crazy, unorthodox ways. Because the only thing holding Naruto back from using these crazy abilities and training techniques and chakra jutsus and stuff like that would be chakra control and his physical abilities. Like if he tried to use some crazy attack that required extreme flexibility, he'd be completely unable to. So Naruto would work on making sure that he can copy anything. And while Naruto wouldn't exactly after just a couple of years and turning 12 years old be able to actually do that, Naruto would make leaps and bounds of gains in terms of what he's actually able to do now. So this timeline's Naruto would be even more busted than the one that we get in the original. And just remember, Sasuke from seeing Rock Lee's fighting style once was able to copy that whole thing and pretty much fight like an absolute beast after that. Naruto has that, but on crack. So he's going to be very, very busted by the time that he graduates the academy. I'd be willing to say he's straight Kakashi level by the time that he's even still in the academy. So as Naruto would grow up, Naruto's personality would change a lot. He would eventually end up becoming more of a quiet, nonchalant, reserved, not being the knuckleheaded ninja that we all know and love. As eventually, the day would come where all of them end up graduating, and Naruto, having the eyes of the Lord, would actually be able to easily copy the technique of using a clone jutsu, a substitution. In fact, all the techniques that Iruka would have shown them during their time in the academy that people would scoff off as useless or not worth anything, Naruto would have perfectly mastered everything that Iruka would have taught them, seeing it only once and having a massive repertoire of jutsus and attack patterns that Naruto could easily use just from the academy. And what's crazy is a lot of the attacks in Naruto's that work really effectively are all Genin level techniques, like the substitution. Dude, that thing's OP. The body flicker, actually, I'm not sure if that's taught in the academy, so I'm going to hold off and be a little more reserved when it comes to that. But eventually the day would come when everybody would graduate, and Naruto would graduate like in the original, being the absolute strongest in the class, and it was just not even a contest. Sasuke Uchiha would be a runner-up, but his strength would not compare when it comes to Naruto. There was a clear gap separating the both of them, almost as large, if not larger, than the one that separated them in the original. Naruto's skills in the academy were second to none, and Naruto would be a prodigy on the level of Minato, Itachi, and Genin like that. So this would lead to Naruto not actually being given the Rookie of the Year, because even though Naruto was the strongest around, Naruto wasn't exactly the smartest around. And because Sasuke was both very powerful, very smart, and would have passed most of the things with fly high in colors as well as Naruto, the Rookie of the Year award would have actually ended up being presented to Sasuke, who, hearing this, Naruto sitting in the back of the classroom pretty much confident that he had gotten this award, would step up being like, what? And honestly, I can personally relate to this, bro. When I was a little kid, there was the Student of the Month award. I don't know if you guys remember that, but bro, there would be months where I would be on my A game. I'd be acting so good, and I'd be like really good because I wanted to show my parents hey, I'm a really behaved kid, give me a reward for being the Student of the Month. And bro, every time I did that, kid you not, some other kid that didn't even actually behave better than me would win the award. That would royally make me angry, so angry, until one time I finally won it and I realized it wasn't worth it. But the point is, after that would happen, Naruto would feel so much rage. He's like, what? What do you mean Sasuke's the Rookie of the Year? I'm the strongest in this whole dang class, including you, Iruka. As Iruka, hearing this, would laugh, saying, that's quite a statement, Naruto. While you do have the strength, Sasuke here actually has both. He's strong and smart, and his test results have been much better than yours. That's why he's currently the Rookie of the Year. As Naruto from here would go tell Iruka that he'll fight Sasuke for the position. In fact, he'll fight him for making the wrong decision and Sasuke just to show that he's the strongest in the whole class. As Iruka, hearing this, would be like, well Naruto, those are some pretty big words. How about you prove it? Look, if you can beat me outside in a light spar, I'll make you the Rookie of the Year. As Sasuke, hearing this, would say, you really think you can fight me and Iruka at the same time? You're an even bigger fool than I thought, Naruto. as he would then go on to pretty much step outside saying, come on, I'll take you on by myself. But Iruka would say, no, Sasuke, I'll take Naruto on. Just sit back down. All of you guys can just watch this. I'm going to show you guys the difference between a Chunin and a Genin. As from here, Naruto would step outside with Iruka, as Iruka would pretty much go on to tell Naruto that if he wants to step back and pretty much take back what he said, now is the time to do so. As Naruto would cockily smirk and saying, I don't think I will. As suddenly, the fight would begin, as Choji would end up saying, come on, begin! And so, Iruka would rush towards the direction of Naruto as he throws a kick, to which Naruto would parry before then doing a mocking sign as he would act like he's yawning as Iruka would be attacking him. Naruto at this moment would then begin to jump back as Iruka would be like, what? And he would begin throwing punches and kicks and everything, eventually throwing a shuriken jutsu at Naruto, to which Naruto, using his finger, would catch all 5 of them in his hand as they would all be spinning like Kakashi would have done in the bell test, and Iruka would be shocked. Naruto would throw him at the direction of Iruka, which would actually nick him in a couple of different places, and after this would be done, Naruto would go on to create a bunch of shadow clones using just the shadow clone jutsu, not the multi, because he hadn't learned that one. He would create 6 clones as all of them would jump up into the air and each one would weave a different elemental style. Naruto would say water style, wind style, earth style, fire style, lightning style, like he says everything, and he would then shoot the attack blazing past the face of Iruka. As Iruka, seeing that Naruto already had a perfect control over all 5 elemental natures, would just kind of sit there and be like, okay, you win. Everybody would begin to just immediately start praising Naruto, and Iruka would literally have no choice but to honor what he said. Naruto now would be made the Rookie of the Year, and after this would happen, Sasuke would grit his teeth knowing that Naruto's stronger, and even if he wanted to do something about it, he literally couldn't, as Naruto would just put his hand in his pocket and walk towards the classroom, where everybody would make their way back inside as the teams would be chosen and Naruto would be paired up in Team 7. As Naruto would fall asleep in the back of the classroom, to which Sasuke would say, I'm paired up with him? I don't want to be paired up with him. And Sakura, hearing this from Sasuke, the complaint would be like, yeah, why does Naruto get to be on a team with us? You should put him on a team with somebody else, somewhere he actually belongs. As Iruka would go on to say sorry, but this choice was actually made by the Hokage himself, so there's nothing he could do about it. As from here, Sasuke would begrudgingly just sit there, staring daggers at Naruto, who was currently unconscious, because, he was kind of sleeping. But with that said, eventually the time would come where hours would pass and Kakashi would end up finally arriving to the room. He would end up introducing himself as he would walk towards the back of the classroom and be like, hey kid, wake up. Naruto would do so groggily as they would make their way towards the top of the roof, and he would ask them their goals. Naruto would go on to say that his goal is to become the strongest ninja there ever has been. Sasuke would say he wants to kill a certain someone, and Sakura would say, well, the person she wants to, who she wants to be with is, as Kakashi seeing this would be like, okay, you're one of those. And he would pretty much end up telling all of them to rest up tonight and make sure to meet him at these training grounds where they're going to be tested to see if they're truly ready to become Genin. After hearing this, all of them would be like, what? But we passed the academy, or sorry, no, not all of them, but Sasuke would say that. As Kakashi would say, that's true, but you still haven't joined my team yet. As from here, he would poof away in a ball of smoke, as Naruto seeing this would do the same, as Sasuke seeing this would say, copycat. And from here, Naruto would disappear as he would make his way towards Ichiraku ramen shop, where Naruto would go on to give 3 of his favorite bowls that he always gets, eating all of the Naruto that's inside of it. As Naruto, right after all of this would happen, would make his way home, where he would lay down before sleeping for an hour and finally making his way towards the training grounds, where he would train tirelessly until sweat would literally stop coming out of his body and he would pass out from literal dehydration. The next morning, Naruto would wake up very late, drinking water from the river straight up, as he would rush towards the direction where he was supposed to meet up with the team and realize that Kakashi was not even there yet. Naruto would breathe a sigh of relief, as from here, Sasuke would go on to tell Naruto that he should have been the Rookie of the Year and he better stay out of his way in this team. As Naruto would begin laughing and saying, shut up Sasuke, you stay out of my way. You're not even in the same league as me. So stop feeling like you're on this high horse, because you're not. And if you keep doing that, I'm going to make sure to knock you down a couple of pegs. You got that, you cocky Uchiha brat? My dojutsu's infinitely better than yours. As from here, hearing this, Sasuke and Naruto would briefly get into it, as Kakashi would arrive and say, well, what do we have here? As the team would turn up, look towards Kakashi, and finally stop. Naruto would go on to say that the teacher saved you, but he won't be there to help him every time. As Sasuke hearing this would just be like, whatever. But deep down he knows that what Naruto was saying was kind of true, because up to this point, after like a couple more fights after their first fight, Sasuke literally was unable to beat Naruto. In fact, he was unable to land a hit on him, which would lead Sasuke to be very, very angry and train a lot harder than the original. So this would mean that this version of Sasuke would actually be a lot stronger than the one that we get in the original, but not to crazy degrees where he's like tuning exam levels, you know? He's just kind of like very strong, maybe like before the Chunin exams training started, like right after the Haku events and stuff like that. That's about how strong he is, and he already does have a Sharingan, so you know, I'll give him that. Anyways though, after this would happen, Kakashi would go on to explain to the team how the bell test works, and after doing so, Naruto would end up blitzing straight towards the direction of Kakashi as he would engage him in hand-to-hand combat, with Naruto's goal being to assess Kakashi's fighting style and see if he can take anything from him. Kakashi from here would begin to be put on the back foot as he would be shocked at the strength and speed that this kid possesses. Not only that, but it seems like he is adapting to the fight as it goes on. Kakashi from here would begin outspeeding Naruto by using the body flicker, and Naruto, seeing this done once, would begin actually spamming the body flicker as well, as he would actually use it like Shisui would in the original story, shocking Kakashi as he would be like, this kid's better than me. As from here he would engage in combat with the Sharingan, and he would kind of be forced to do so, as Naruto would actually be matching Kakashi very, very well, when suddenly Kakashi would weave hand signs for a fire style, but Naruto would do that simultaneously, as both of them would clash, and Naruto from here would substitute out of the way of the massive explosion that would engulf after this, as Naruto would jump into the air, create a shadow clone to which he would actually jump off of, and then get even higher into the air as he would create 2 more clones, and he would shoot a fire style, wind style, and a water style, or and a mud, a fire style, a water, fire style, 2 fire style jutsus to make it even bigger, and a wind style, which would enlarge it even more. This would burn a massive section of the forest, as Kakashi, seeing that this Genin is displaying these crazy abilities, would be absolutely stunned, to which Naruto would appear right behind him, blitzing him, holding a kunai at his neck as he grabs onto both of the bells and yanks them off of him. Naruto from here would go on to celebrate, saying he passed, and would turn to Kakashi before telling him that he's going to be making his way on his team. One of them is just going to have to fight him for it, as he would then go on to say that Sasuke is going to be the one to do so. As Kakashi, before the fight could even start, and Sasuke would be like, why you little, Kakashi would literally say that they failed, going on to explain that Naruto's going to be tied up to a post because he didn't grasp the whole point of this entire exam. As Naruto would be like, what? But I beat you. I'm more than Jonin level, and you mean to keep me in the academy? As Kakashi would say that that wasn't the point. From here, Naruto would be tied to a stump, as he would go on to explain to both of them that Naruto won't exactly be allowed to move forward, as it would be in this moment that, you know, Sasuke would just kind of be thinking about it. He'd be like, what did he mean by that? He got the bell, so why is he tied up? When suddenly he would hear Naruto's stomach growling, and Sasuke turning towards Naruto would say, here, have some. I don't particularly like you, but I know that without you, our chances of getting the bells are practically none. As from here, Naruto would begin eating, and Sakura would actually begin feeding Naruto as well, which would lead to Kakashi making his presence known and telling the team that they passed, that the real purpose of this exam was teamwork, and saying that since Naruto was as powerful as they are, and Sasuke was willing to use teamwork to get the bells, he thinks they can probably pass. As from here, Sasuke would go on a smile, as Naruto would still be confused about the whole situation, but he wouldn't complain. I mean, now he's a Genin, right? After this, we would begin 2 weeks of arduous missions where they pretty much are just really, really bored, until finally Sasuke and Naruto would both simultaneously speak up about this, saying that their skills are being completely wasted on carrying old ladies' groceries to their houses, finding lost cats, and helping people with chores, saying that they're ninjas, they deserve to do other things than this, as Hiruzen would go on to explain that if nobody does it, then who will? As he would go on to say, but he understands, as he goes on to give them a different mission, as Tazuna the bridge builder would enter the room and say, huh? This is what you have for me? I'm paying good money for this mission and you're giving me a brat, some black-haired kid, and this guy? As from here, he would point to Naruto, as Naruto would stare daggers at him with his I was about to say Byakugan, but no, with his dojutsu that he has active. As Tazuna, seeing Naruto's eyes, would quickly shut up and say, well, I guess it'll do. Going on to explain that, like they leave tomorrow morning. As the team would nod, and Naruto would go on to explain to pack all their necessities and meet at the tent at the bridge tomorrow, or not the bridge, but the village gate. Everybody would do so, packing their things, as the very next day they would meet at the bridge and they would begin the Land of the Waves mission. We immediately kicked things off with Team 7 making their way toward the Land of the Waves, and on their way there, one thing would be kind of awkward, and that would be the fact that it is extremely quiet. I mean, literally, nobody is saying a word, and the only noises that you could hear is seemingly nature, or whenever Tazuna decides to go or makes any of his old man noises, you know what I mean? Like those noises that I'm pretty sure everyone has heard from an older person. But it would be at this point that Sakura, realizing that everything's kind of weird, the tension's just strange, would finally end up perking up and saying something, saying, so, Sasuke, what do you think about the mission so far? As Sasuke would ignore her, and she would finally, kind of get the hint about 10 seconds later, as she would then turn to Naruto and say, so Naruto, what about your eyes? As she would rub the back of her hair. From here, Naruto would turn towards the direction of Sakura before then explaining that his dojutsu is kind of weird. From what he's heard from Hiruzen, it seems to be the first dojutsu of its kind. He's not sure why it awakened because he doesn't even know who his parents are, but all that he does know is that his dojutsu is extremely powerful. Going on to explain that the abilities it grants is to pretty much be able to read his opponent's abilities and copy them instantly. Any fighting technique, any element, any jutsu, anything he can see, he can copy, with the exception of dojutsus, just because I think that might be a little too busted, and at that point it would just be, what if Naruto could copy everything he sees? Like, what if Naruto had every dojutsu? You know what I mean? And I don't really feel like doing that one today, so maybe I'll do that on another time, but not now. But anyways, after hearing that, Sakura would be extremely impressed at what Naruto's dojutsu capabilities are. As from here, Kakashi would go on to ask if it's much like the Sharingan in essence, seeing as Kakashi has copied over 1,000 jutsu with his Sharingan, as Naruto says that it's way better than the Sharingan, saying that the Sharingan, if anything, is like a watered down version of his dojutsu. And he would say this turning towards Sasuke before letting out a grin. But right as this happens, suddenly, the two demon brothers would rush in, killing Kakashi in an instant, as Naruto and Sasuke, both realizing that they're in trouble, would react instantly, both taking down a brother, as Naruto would say, Kakashi, you can come out now. As Kakashi would go on to pretty much reveal that he had never died in the first place, and he would go on to question the brothers, going on to question Tazuna as well, asking why in the world they just got attacked by two Chunin level ninjas, as Tazuna would go on to quickly apologize and just give some crazy sob story, saying that without their help, their village is pretty much going to go into complete poverty and they're never going to be able to escape the hole. As he would go on to pretty much tell them that if he doesn't help them, then his little grandson Inari is going to be sad, as he would just pretty much start guilt tripping Kakashi so unbelievably hard that Kakashi would pretty much have no choice but to just be like, fine. And so we would eventually have the team continuing on with their journey. As hours pass, you would suddenly see a white rabbit in the distance, as Naruto would quickly catch a glimpse of this, picking it up before saying, this isn't supposed to, before you could hear the sounds of a gigantic blade whooshing towards their direction. Naruto in this moment would instantly duck, knowing that something was coming, as Kakashi would tell the squad to do the same, and suddenly, Zabuza would appear before performing his hidden mist jutsu. In this moment, Zabuza would appear in the shadows and begin to catch Naruto off guard, as instantly, Naruto would do the exact same thing back to Zabuza, as he would hold a kunai to his neck, and Zabuza from the shadows would say, impressive, Genin. As from here, Naruto instantly would get into a battle with Zabuza, as he would begin egging Zabuza on to use any and all techniques that he has available. And so, Naruto would begin copying everything and anything that Zabuza was using, at first beginning to be pushed back by Zabuza's incredible physical strength, but Naruto would start to copy that as well. his eyes would start straining, because at this point Naruto's having to go beyond his normal physical strength, and now his eyes have veins popping up on them, much like the Hyuga clan's dojutsu. As from here, Naruto would actually be the one who begins to push Zabuza back with his strength. As they would begin copying each other and using kunais like daggers, Naruto would begin pushing Zabuza onto the water. As Zabuza beginning to run on it would be shocked as Naruto would follow him into the battlefield in the water, and so they would continue clashing as Zabuza eventually begins to weave hand signs for the gigantic water dragon jutsu, saying, "This battle is making me grow tired." As from here, using this jutsu he would try to end the fight instantly, but Naruto's own water dragon jutsu would come right back at Zabuza the second that Naruto would dodge Zabuza's attack, and this would leave Zabuza completely unconscious, as Kakashi, seeing Naruto's display of abilities, would be utterly shocked, thinking that Naruto has potential the likes has never been seen before. That kid just learned how to take a battle up to like literal Jonin level in seconds, not to mention he previously had shown that he can keep up with Kakashi, who's one of the best in the Hidden Leaf Village. After this would happen, Naruto would see 3 Senbon flying in towards the direction of Zabuza as they would all connect on his neck, and it would cause Zabuza's heart to completely stop. At this moment, a tracking ninja would end up arriving, taking Zabuza away, as the entire team would end up making their way back to Tazuna's house, where Naruto would begin to train in the forest, working on anything and everything, trying to see if there's any way that Naruto could use the abilities he stole from Zabuza to use in combination attacks, seeing if there's anything that Naruto could use and improve upon. And as this would be happening, you would just pretty much have Sasuke watching in the background, as Naruto would be wanting to figure out what exactly it is that makes Naruto so strong. How does he train? What does he do? Because it can't just be that dojutsu. Can it? Is his dojutsu really that much superior to the Sharingan? But as Sasuke would be thinking this, Naruto would notice that Sasuke's watching him and would actually begin showing off. I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but like I personally play basketball. So there's this thing that everybody who plays basketball does. They, like if a car's driving by, they start shooting cool shots and they start like showing off and stuff like that in the hopes that the person driving in the car is going to be like, wow, that kid's good. Or it's going to be an NBA scout being like, yo, dude, we want you in the league. But anyways, yeah, Naruto would start doing that kind of crazy showing off. Like Naruto's using moves as if there's a bunch of girls watching him right now. That's the kind of showing off that Naruto would start doing, which would cause Sasuke to get even more upset at Naruto, causing Sasuke to just walk off. From here, Naruto would continue training, and we would finally transition to Naruto training and trying to see if he could do the things that Naruto could, but he would ultimately realize he just couldn't. Without his Sharingan, Sasuke had absolutely no hope of keeping up with him. As from here, we would jump skip to the day where Kakashi would finally end up teaching them the tree walking jutsu. As from here, Naruto watching Kakashi perform it once would instantly copy it like it was nothing, and Sasuke seeing this would get extremely annoyed. Following this, Sakura would go on to learn it within the next 10 minutes, as Sasuke would try over and over and over and over again, until finally, Sakura coming up to him would begin to ask him if he would like some pointers, as Sasuke, being very prideful, wanting to get it on his own, would say no, but after hours would pass, she would finally end up teaching him a couple of things, and then Sasuke would finally start to understand how the jutsu works, as suddenly Sasuke would stop the training midway through and would just turn to Sakura as he begins to just kind of start venting to her, saying that it's so annoying that Naruto would just learn everything instantly. And Naruto would have been coming to check up on Sasuke and see how his progress was coming, would actually overhear this. Sasuke would then go on to say that it's not fair that Naruto just gets everything handed to him in a silver platter, and Naruto hearing this would instantly get extremely upset, because that's absolutely not how his life has been. Naruto would come out before saying, "I get everything handed to me on a silver platter? That's funny coming from you, an Uchiha brat who literally was born with an amazing dojutsu. I didn't even know what my eyes were until I was 10 years old, Sasuke. Do you know how much it hurt to have all of the villagers call me a demon because of my red eyes? Even though there was an entire clan out there who had eyes just like me, yet they weren't demons? Do you know what it felt like to be ostracized from the village and have to realize that the only reason that anybody will look at me, much less care about me, is if I'm powerful? Do you get that, Sasuke? Do you know how hard I've worked for this? You're out of your mind if you think I'm just gonna let you say that about me. Naruto would say, as Sasuke hearing all of this would just kind of stay silent as Naruto would walk away like a boss, and Kakashi seeing all this would look at Naruto as he would say he understands why he said that, but he would go on to tell Naruto that he didn't have to, saying that that little speech was not good for the team as a whole, saying that since they're on the same team, they're not in a competition. As Naruto turning to Kakashi would say, it sure does seem like it. Ever since I can remember, Sasuke's never been able to handle not being the strongest. He hated the fact that I was able to surpass him, and every time that he was able to beat me, he would rub it in my face and make sure I knew about it. He's a sore winner. Well, now he can be a sore loser. As Kakashi turning to Naruto would say that what he's saying may be true, but what will he have if he doesn't have friends or teammates? As Naruto turning to Kakashi would say, I'll have me. That's what I'll have. I'll have myself. As he walks away, and Kakashi would begin training Sakura and Sasuke on different techniques, combination attacks, and things of the sort. And as they would be training, Naruto would be doing his own training, learning in new techniques and figuring out new combinations, or not actually new techniques, but just really combinations. Eventually though, the day of the bridge builder mission fight would finally come around, and as they would all pretty much just be relaxing on the bridge, suddenly Haku and Zabuza would both appear on the bridge as a thick mist would envelop the area, and Naruto, realizing that somebody new had just entered the battlefield, would instantly rush into the fight to face off against his new opponent, smirking as he knows that now he's gonna get the opportunity to not only just copy that guy's abilities, but his as well. And Zabuza would have been thinking that Haku would have probably been a perfect match for him, seeing as there's no way that this kid can copy Kekkei Genkai, right? But the second that the battle would start, Haku would begin using his Kekkei Genkai abilities to immediately pick off the fight with Naruto, knowing that his strength was nothing to be laughed at. And as this would be happening, Naruto would basically just be focusing on dodging all of these ice attacks, making Haku angrier and angrier as he would pretty much begin to mock him during the fight, much like Spider-Man would, but in an even more disrespectful and savage way. Think more like Black Spider-Man. Eventually, Naruto would literally yawn mid-fight as suddenly he would go on to tell Naruto that if he's going to use that attack, he should do it like this before performing Haku's own attacks against him. Suddenly, Haku, seeing that this was taking place, would begin to be overwhelmed, as Sasuke, who was watching all of this previously as he saw that Naruto was kind of on the back foot, would have had a smile on his face, but the second that Naruto started absolutely destroying Haku, Sasuke's smile would have instantly went away, and he would have gotten super jealous seeing Naruto fight at this level with Haku. This would lead him to get really insecure about himself and would rush into the fight trying to prove it to himself that he's able to keep up with Naruto, but unfortunately for him, he just wasn't, and instead he ends up actually getting in the way of Naruto's attack, causing Naruto to actually have to undo the attack, leading Haku to quickly blitz in towards the direction of Naruto and land a blow that would actually leave a hole in Naruto's chest. At this point, Naruto would fall onto the ground as Sasuke, realizing what he had just done, would look at Naruto and feel terrible about what he had just done. Feeling so much guilt and shame, Sasuke would unlock his Sharingan in that moment as Naruto would wake up in a different plane of existence. Naruto would stare at a cage which would be holding the nine-tailed fox, and Naruto, staring into it, would realize that this must be the reason they all called him a monster. Naruto would turn to Kurama before asking him if he's the monster that all the villagers have been referring to, as Kurama would go on a growl at Naruto, telling him that he's not speaking to him, and Naruto would say, I don't need you to, I just need your power. And from here, Naruto would pretty much wake up, and the second that he would do so, Naruto would actually be enveloped with the one-tailed cloak. That's all that Naruto could muster at this point, and the reason he could is because of the fact that his body was just so much more powerful. But because he had never done this before, Naruto could only muster up one tail unless, he was willing to risk getting completely taken over. But with that being the case, Naruto blitzes inside of one of the mirrors that Haku was actually currently inside of, who was attacking Sasuke with Senbon from different angles. This would lead Naruto to pretty much end up blitzing into the one that Haku's inside of and dragging him out, as he would throw him from mirror to mirror, and Haku would be running away, jumping in mirror to mirror, kind of like a Scooby-Doo scene, with Naruto following closely behind him. And suddenly, Naruto grabs Haku by the mask, smashing him down on the ground before creating an ice spike that would smash right into Haku's face, sending him flying away. As Sasuke staring at all of this with his two Tomoe Sharingan, which would have evolved evolve due to the fact that he was over here trying to face off against Haku, who was completely overwhelming him and putting him in a near death-like state, would actually lead Sasuke evolving as Sharingan. Oh, and quick thing, I'm not sure if I said in the previous part that Sasuke had already unlocked his Sharingan in this timeline, but if I did, just completely let's just completely forget that I said something like that, because I kind of have a feeling that I did say that. But with that being the case, Naruto would absolutely end up destroying Haku, knocking him out, as Sasuke would turn to see Naruto show off power that he had never shown before, and Naruto, turning to Sasuke, would just kind of like glare at him, being angered at the fact that he nearly died because of Sasuke. Naruto, realizing that Kakashi was still facing off against Zabuza, would blitz in the way, as he would go on to hit Zabuza away, as Zabuza would be like, "Impossible! You defeated Haku?" And as this would be taking place, Gato and his men would arrive, as he would go on to badmouth Zabuza, telling him that this is ridiculous. He paid him all this money just so he could kill some old bridge builder, but he couldn't even defeat a bunch of kids? Gato would begin laughing, as he would go on to pretty much tell him that if he wants a job done right, he's got to do it himself. From here, he would turn to all of his men before telling them that they need to go out there and take care of Zabuza as well. And Zabuza, hearing this, would turn to Kakashi saying, "Guess this battle's over," as he would grab his blade and say, "Gato, you went back on your word," rushing towards him and killing all of his men this time, before finally arriving towards Gato and completely cutting his head from his body. At this moment, Zabuza would walk towards the direction of Haku, look at Naruto, and tell him that he's strong to keep improving, as he would take Haku, throwing him over his shoulder, and Zabuza and Haku would leave, never to be seen again in this what if, or maybe I'll introduce them again. But anyways, with that being the case, Naruto would still be named would still have the bridge named after him, and suddenly we would time skip to the team being greeted by Hiruzen, who would ask them how their mission went. At this point, Kakashi would go on to explain that their mission went actually pretty well, but Tazuna had ended up lying a bit about the mission stakes, going on to explain what Naruto showed off, how incredible he was and how impressive he was, as he would go on to tell Naruto, or Hiruzen, that he thinks that he can copy Kekkei Genkai as well, seeing as he ended up even copying Haku's Ice Kekkei Genkai, which shouldn't even be possible. Hiruzen, after hearing this, would think to himself that that is incredible, but one more thought would come to his head. If he can copy Kekkei Genkai, there might be a chance that now they could actually have two wood users in the village. As from this point, Hiruzen would go on to pretty much tell Naruto to stay back for a second, asking him if he's willing to learn a couple new abilities. As Naruto, hearing this, would ask Hiruzen if he means what he thinks he's saying, and Hiruzen would nod. From here, Kakashi would stay back with Naruto and Hiruzen as they would make their way towards training grounds, where Hiruzen would actually end up inviting Yamato to come in and make an appearance, to which Yamato would go on to be told to display all of his wood jutsu abilities, as Naruto would begin copying them one by one. Yamato would be absolutely stunned, asking him if he actually had some sort of operation done to himself as well, to inherit the abilities of Hashirama Senju, but Naruto would say that that's not the case, pointing to his eyes and going on to tell him that the reason he can use these abilities just as well is because he's actually copying him. And Yamato, hearing this, would think to himself that that kid has tremendous potential. From here, Hiruzen would go on to show him a bunch of jutsu as well, and Kakashi would even whip out a couple more from his repertoire, as Naruto would just get stronger and stronger and stronger, to the point where Hiruzen would be so enamored with Naruto's talent that he would even offer him the ability to create a summoning scroll or a summoning pact with Monkey King Enma, who would even agree to this instantly, being like, "Yes, I want to work with this kid, he's so powerful," you know? So by the time that the Chunin exams roll around, Naruto's already literally gonna be borderline Hokage level, and if he's not one, he can pretty much just steal a Hokage's abilities mid-fight. That honestly, at this age, might straight up burn out his eyes though, because at this moment, with Naruto learning all of these high-ranking abilities, by the end of it, Naruto would have finally ended up experiencing one drawback. His eyes burned like never before, and Naruto found himself that his eyes were so strained he had to literally keep them closed for 2 days. So Naruto would find one thing out: there's definitely a limit to how much Naruto can do in one day, and how far Naruto can take his body and push itself. So Naruto, taking account of that, would go on to pretty much know that he should not just be copying everything silly-willy, you know what I mean? So with that being said, Finally, the day of the Chunin exams would roll around, as just like in the original, Rock Lee would end up making his appearance, going on to challenge the Rookie of the Year, which this time around would actually be Naruto, who would quickly shut down Rock Lee, telling him that right now he just kind of wants to conserve his energy, saying, "Besides, I'm out of your league." As from here, Rock Lee hearing this would think to himself that he needs to prove himself, but simultaneously, Sasuke would have the same idea, as he would go on a step between Naruto and Rock Lee, going on to pretty much say why is he challenging him when he could fight him instead, and Rock Lee hearing this would say, "Alright, very well, if I defeat you, then Naruto, will you face me?" Naruto would go on to turn towards Rock Lee saying, "Sure, if you can beat Sasuke here, then I guess you're good enough to fight me." As from here, Rock Lee would go on to actually stomp Sasuke with a lot more effort than he would have in the original, which would leave Lee kind of tired, but Naruto, having seen his battle, would actually copy a couple of Rock Lee's abilities, instantly starting their own fight with a Leaf Hurricane, immediately catching Rock Lee off guard, as suddenly Lee would end up undoing his first gate, with Naruto doing the same, as Might Guy watching all of this take place would be like, "Lee, we have to go. What are you doing unleashing the first inner gate?" As Rock Lee would go on to say that he's so sorry, and Might Guy turning towards Naruto would be absolutely shocked that this kid displayed the ability to open one of the gates, having never even known of this kid before. As Naruto would go on to thank Lee for the new abilities, and Might Guy would wonder what he means by that, thinking to himself that he's gonna have to ask Kashi about that. "Hey Sasuke, are you even listening? Sasuke!" At this moment, Sasuke would be zoning out, remembering his embarrassing loss that he had just taken to Rock Lee. At this moment, all Sasuke could think about was the fact that he was second best to Naruto. But now, not only is Sasuke having to come to terms that there's Naruto that's stronger than him, but he's starting to realize that he's not even the strongest of all of these rookies behind Naruto. He might even be in like 10th or 5th place from all he knows, and everybody around him seems to be getting so much stronger. Meanwhile, he hasn't even unlocked his own Sharingan yet. Sasuke would just think to himself that he's an embarrassment to his clan, and that his brother was right in sparing him, that he really was too weak to kill. But as that would be happening, Naruto's call to him would finally catch his attention, and he would say, "Huh, what'd you say?" As in this moment, you would just kind of see Naruto telling him that they're going to be starting the test. At this point, we would get the scene with Naruto pretty much copying the pencil movements of other people along with Sasuke, seeing as he can do that. We would have Sasuke using his Sharingan to do the exact same thing. Sakura passes the test because she answers the questions correctly. And when we finally get to the point in the test where everybody has to take the final question, I just don't see Naruto backing down in this version either. But what I do see changing is Naruto's little speech that he gives, where he pretty much ends up inspiring some extra participants to actually take the test as well, because they get inspired by his speech, you know what I mean? And so what pretty much ends up taking place due to this is that a couple less people would actually end up being taking part in the actual Chunin Exams Forest section, which in part is actually good for them, because in this part they won't end up getting slaughtered by Gaara, who's over here talking about some sand, you know what I mean? But what I will say, however, is that Naruto did actually catch a glimpse of Gaara's eye technique that he would use with the sand. Naruto actually would have taken very a keen interest on that, and Naruto now would have something like that in his arsenal. But that's besides the point. Eventually, they finally enter the Forest of Death, and what would pretty much end up happening here is that Naruto would be elected as the team leader, because the second that everything would start, Sakura would quickly point out that they need somebody to decide what they're going to be doing. She would say Sasuke should be the leader, but at this point in time, Sasuke would still kind of be zoning out about things, just thinking about everything that's been taking place in his life and how everything has kind of been going wrong. It'd be at this point that Naruto would say that they could just follow his lead. Sasuke should be cool with that, as he would turn to Sasuke and say, "Hey, are you cool with following what I say for this test?" And Sasuke would just kind of nod, not really caring about it, because in this specific point in time, Sasuke has sort of become docile. He's not even angry at Naruto anymore. He's just ashamed. He's embarrassed. He's straight up cowering down to Naruto in this moment, not even having his usual bravado that he's always had. Naruto would even be worried about this, being like, "Dude, Sasuke, like what's wrong with you?" because it's not like Naruto wants Sasuke to be in that sort of headspace, you know what I mean? But regardless of this, they eventually make their way towards the forest, where they would finally end up finding a couple of teams. I'd say, give or take, they end up encountering 2 teams, where the 2 teams before don't have the scroll that they need, so they pretty much just leave them there, and then they rush towards the direction of somebody who has the earth scroll. Once they find the scroll, I can see the team just quickly making their way towards the tower, with Naruto wanting to make it a point that they would actually pass the test really quickly. But before they could actually end up arriving, Naruto could quickly sense a massive chakra signature heading their way, and the second that it would arrive, it would be none other than Orochimaru, who would quickly use his bloodlust to stun Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. But the second that Naruto could feel how much chakra he had, how much bloodlust he had, and how clearly powerful his opponent was, Naruto would grin. Because this Naruto doesn't look at strong opponents and fear or cower down to them. Naruto rises to the occasion every time, knowing that this person is going to teach him something he's never had before. And that's exactly what Naruto was ready to do. The second that he would feel him and he would be paralyzed, a split second would pass before Naruto would rush in towards the direction of Orochimaru and send a massive wind attack at Orochimaru, which would blow him back as Naruto rushes in to land an attack, but Orochimaru would substitute out of the way behind Naruto and would nearly cut him before Naruto would actually copy exactly what he had just done, appearing behind Orochimaru himself, as Orochimaru would say, "What? He's this fast?" But in this moment, Naruto would actually successfully land an elbow to Orochimaru's back, which would send him back a bit, who would crack a smile and lick his lips before weaving hand signs for a gigantic snake to appear. Orochimaru riding on top of this gigantic snake would stun Naruto, who would be like, "That's impressive." Naruto at this moment couldn't exactly copy this specific technique due to the fact that he doesn't have a summoning pact with the snake and it wouldn't listen to him. It would probably just try to kill him. So what Naruto would do is quickly weave hand signs for a wood style jutsu, which quickly restrains the snake, causing Orochimaru to say, "Wood style?" As in this moment, Naruto would jump up into the air before then weaving hand signs for a couple of what's the word I'm looking for clones to pop out at his sides, as Naruto would say wind style, lightning style, earth style, fire style. You know, he pretty much says all the styles, and then shoots a massive attack towards Orochimaru, who would quickly dodge it as fast as possible and then rush towards the direction of Naruto, being impressed at Naruto's abilities to display something like wood style. It'd be in this moment that Naruto would try to use a wood style to grab onto Orochimaru and attack at him, but Orochimaru would dodge out of the way, as Naruto quickly weaving hand signs for a wood dragon jutsu would send it crashing towards the direction of Orochimaru, who in this moment is just getting more and more excited at the prospect of Naruto. He would go in at Naruto trying to use his curse mark technique, as he would stretch his neck out towards the direction of Naruto's direction, but Naruto dodging out of the way would say, "That's an interesting jutsu," before his neck would extend as well. Orochimaru being shocked as he would test the theory, shooting a massive amount of snakes towards the direction of Naruto, who quickly weaves the same hand signs and shoots a massive amount of snakes straight towards the direction of Orochimaru, who would think, "He can. He's copying everything he sees. That's why he has," as Naruto would close the distance between the both of them before weaving hand signs for a gigantic ice blade to appear, with Naruto rushing towards Orochimaru to try to slash at him. But before he would, Orochimaru's excitement would get the best of him, and he would rush towards the direction of Naruto to clash with him with the Kusanagi blade. At this moment, both of them would slash at each other, and Orochimaru's superior swordsman techniques would actually get the best of Naruto, who quickly would begin to copy everything that Orochimaru's doing, with him thinking, "Fascinating. He's growing as he fights. I wonder if it's those eyes." Stopping the battle before getting a bit of space and asking him if his abilities have something to do with his dojutsu, with Naruto saying they do. As in this moment, Naruto would say that he's been fun, but since he's already shown him everything he has in his arsenal, he's done with him. From here, Naruto would go on to pretty much weave hand signs for a wood style attack, as he would launch 3 wood style dragons at Orochimaru, and Orochimaru would simply stand there as all 3 of those wood dragons would hit and Orochimaru's body would turn to mush. Naruto would smirk, knowing that now he has access to a jutsu like this, but he would wonder what became of Orochimaru, as he would not think about this anymore, not really know or care about who that was, just caring about the fact that he learned new techniques, as after this would happen, Naruto would quickly fall to one knee, realizing that keeping up with the Orochimaru actually took a lot more out of him than he thought. Naruto holds his head as he would have a small migraine, and holding both of his eyes, he would say, I need to give them a break. Suddenly he turns towards Sakura as he would pretty much tell her that they need to make their way towards the tower, and he would tell Sakura to pretty much lead him there. And so the team would make their way towards the Chunin Tower, with Naruto having his eyes closed the entire time. Using his senses and following the voice of Sasuke and Sakura, they would finally end up arriving to the Chunin Tower, which means no sound getting encounter, which is actually going to be pretty cool for the pacing of the story, but bad for Sasuke since he's never going to get that really cool moment. Anyways, eventually they would make their way towards the tower, and they would actually rest for at least 1 or 2 days, just due to the fact that, if you guys don't remember, like, this test didn't exactly just take 3 hours, it took a couple of days, which finally would lead us towards what happens after, or at least I think so. Can somebody let me know down below in the comments if you're actually aware of that? But regardless, they end up making their way towards the tower, where they would be told that they are the second to actually arrive here. And so what would pretty much end up taking place after this is that we would have the 1v1 battles, as I previously stated. We would get the fight between Akamaru and Kiba versus Naruto, Sasuke versus the Yoroi guy who could sap chakra away from people, which Naruto would definitely notice and copy that ability, which now means that Naruto has the capabilities to suck chakra out of people, which is going to be an insanely busted technique. Naruto, watching all of this other stuff, would also learn a thing or two from the rest of his participants that were taking place in this, meaning Gaara, all of Gaara's techniques that he would have used against Lee. Naruto now has access to Sanjutsus, not to mention the fourth gate, because that's exactly what Naruto would have done watching Lee. Naruto would have found out how to copy that ability, and now this means that Naruto's even stronger, because now Naruto's going to get access to the gates all the way to the fourth gate, which is more than enough for Naruto, and access to Kurama's power, which he does have at the moment. That's just gonna be busted, dude. And his dojutsu, I mean, come on now, like, you don't get any cooler than that. But regardless, eventually all of these tests would finally be over, and Naruto, seeing everything that happened and took place, would have been extremely excited, especially to show off all of the moves that he copied from the Hyuga clan member. Excited to show that not only is he better than everybody, but he's better than everybody at their own game. That's what Naruto's trying to prove, that he is in fact the strongest ninja to ever live. And while all of this would be taking place, Naruto would be none the wiser to realizing that Orochimaru had completely abandoned the search for Sasuke. I mean, Sasuke wasn't even on his plate anymore. Orochimaru was solely focused on taking Naruto's eyes. So when it comes to the final battle that would take place towards the end, Naruto's not gonna just face off against, like, Gaara or something like that. Dude, Naruto's gonna have to face off against somebody extremely powerful at this point of time. So let's get into the 1 month of training. After all this would be said and done, I could definitely see Kakashi taking note of Sasuke's progression and his inability to unlock the Sharingan. So over the course of the next month, Kakashi would actually end up working with Sasuke to not only unlock the Sharingan, but to actually use the Sharingan and help him learn abilities from other people that are around him, copying Kakashi's taijutsu to the max, and also even enlisting the help of Might Guy to help him copy some of his taijutsu to catch Sasuke up to the rest of everything. Not really learning the as crazy taijutsu as he does in the original, but he would still end up ultimately learning the Chidori, which is the most important thing to this point. This is where we can now finally jump into what happens during Naruto's training. Now, Naruto's training is actually going to be a bit different than the one that we get in the original, due to the nature of Naruto's training style, where he just loves seeing other people's jutsus. Naruto would have actually ended up starting his first week of training alongside Hiruzen, Yamato, and some of his special Anbu ninja, which would actually end up displaying their specialties, jutsus, wire jutsus, shuriken jutsus. They show him how to imbue chakra into weapons and stuff like that, which Naruto now would finally be capable of. They show him a bunch of brand new earth style jutsus, water jutsus, fire jutsus. Like, dude, they're showing him everything and anything that they could possibly show. And Naruto would have even ended up learning some of the Shikamaru clan's jutsus in terms of, like, their ability to use the shadow and stuff like that. Naruto even has access to the Yamanaka mind transfer jutsu because he would have actually seen it during the fight against Sakura, I believe. right? I'm pretty sure that she does actually use that. But the point is, Naruto seeing all of these things would now grow even more powerful, and every single day, Naruto was just getting stronger and stronger. Eventually, Naruto would end up meeting Jiraiya thanks to Hiruzen, who would introduce him to him and tell him that Jiraiya is one of the most powerful ninjas they've ever had in the village, explaining to Naruto that he's going to be teaching him a couple of jutsus. And so, Jiraiya, knowing of Naruto's abilities, wouldn't start slow or something like that, or like try to fix up his fundamentals. He would simply show Naruto a bunch of jutsus he had, with one of the most prominent ones being the Rasengan, the technique he uses with the oil jutsus and stuff like that, the toad abilities, the toad summoning jutsu, which Naruto would actually now also have access to them as well. He would learn just all the crazy abilities that Jiraiya has in his repertoire, until finally we would get to the point where Jiraiya would end up telling Naruto that he's pretty much taught him all he could at this point, with Jiraiya telling him that he's an insane prodigy, the likes that he's never seen before, telling him that not even Minato was this strong, saying that that dojutsu of his really comes in handy. As Naruto would ask who Minato was, and at this point Jiraiya would go on to explain Minato, saying, "Wait, Minato? There's one thing I haven't taught you, but I don't think I can." As from here, we would pretty much end up having Naruto being taken to Hiruzen's office, where Naruto would have one thing explained to him: the flying Raijin. 4 of Konoha's ninjas would actually get in a formation, and they would teleport Hiruzen to a different location. With Naruto, over the course, the main thing that he would learn is how to use like sealing jutsus and stuff like that. And so after Jiraiya would teach him most of the things that he knows, Naruto, seeing all of this, would end up actually learning and perfecting the flying Raijin technique, just like his father was, doing the same thing that the 4 ninjas were doing, but using as much chakra as all of them were using together to use the flying Raijin. And he would use this and practice on this, and this would be the main thing that Naruto would be up to during this entire time of training. So by the time that we would finally make it back to the 1v1 battles and we would have Naruto face off against Neji, the battle would be so unbelievably quick, it would actually be insane. Naruto would start everything off by throwing kunais everywhere, just pretty much using Jiraiya's shuriken whatever jutsu, right? As a bunch of shuriken are thrown all over the battlefield, and now Naruto pretty much would turn towards Neji, as he would say, "So, want to get started?" holding one hand out before doing the "come here" sign. As Neji seeing this would be like, "Why, you cocky little," as he would rush in towards the direction of Naruto, expecting to have an easy fight. You know, he's never truly been challenged like in a crazy way before, but now he was about to face off against somebody who could copy him move for move, bar for bar. And we would get a scene kind of similar to the one with Adam versus Zeus, due to the fact that Zeus was using a bunch of like actual physical attacks, not jutsu or stuff like that, where Naruto would pretty much watch Neji use an attack, dodge it barely, and then reflect it right back to Neji, using divine reflection on Neji to pretty much land attack after attack after attack. And after finally showing that he was much stronger than Neji in basic taijutsu, Neji would end up using the 64 palm jutsu on Naruto, which Naruto would actually dodge each and every single one of the blows, smiling before then using the jutsu on Neji himself. As Naruto, smirking at this, would then pretty much just watch as Neji falls to the ground with all of his chakra path and networks having been shut down. Naruto would just smile and hold his hand up, saying that he's gonna be the winner, before suddenly Naruto would actually turn and see that the 4th Kaze, or the Kaze Kage, right? The one that was supposedly Orochimaru, the one that was supposedly the Kazekage Raza or something like that. I forget. Whatever Gaara's dad's name is, right? But the point is, he would appear right next to Naruto, who is completely unsuspecting of what's going on, and he would congratulate Naruto personally, placing his hand on him, but this would actually be a seal to end up summoning Naruto out of that area entirely. And the next thing Naruto knows, he's inside of a strange, dark cave. Naruto can't see a thing, but suddenly, Naruto could feel fangs go into his leg, as Naruto would let out a small little like sensation of pain, kind of like a noise, you know what I mean? As you could just suddenly hear Orochimaru's voice, Kabuto's voice, and the voice of a gigantic snake. Naruto would have been reverse summoned to Ryuchi Cave, where Orochimaru was planning on not only killing Naruto, but taking those eyes for himself, taking his body. And so, Naruto would be on the back foot as Kabuto, the Sound 4, Kimimaru, Orochimaru, and a bunch of the Sound Genin, dude, everything that Orochimaru had at his disposal in that little, in that day where they attacked the village, Orochimaru would be using it in order to take down Naruto, take his eyes, because Orochimaru is well aware of the fact, if this kid gets any older, if he learns any more techniques, this one chance that he has is going to completely disappear. Sasuke, that doesn't matter anymore. The ability to copy every jutsu you see, that is of utmost importance. And Orochimaru was prepared to sacrifice everything in order to capture those eyes. That's what Orochimaru's been seeking his entire life, the knowledge of every jutsu, and now it was right in front of him. Orochimaru was not going to be letting this opportunity pass by him. And so, the battle would commence. Naruto, who would be on the back foot, would have tons of jutsu shot at him, a sound jutsu that would go off in his ear, rattling his brain, as Naruto would fall down onto the ground and would begin to be berated by all of these strange attacks. Suddenly, Naruto, sensing everything that was going on, would start to have all of these abilities copied in his mind, but he doesn't know where these people are at, until suddenly Naruto could finally feel the abilities of the Nine Tails coursing through his veins, fighting off the poison that Orochimaru would have injected Naruto with to slow him down. Naruto would tap into his the two-tailed state, as two tails would appear off of Naruto, and the chakra he's exuding would actually give a little bit of light for him to see. Orochimaru and the rest would have actually been using a jutsu that Orochimaru would have used, or not a jutsu, but he would have been using a not specifically jutsu, but they just know how to coordinate their attacks. Let's say that, right? It would be at this point that Naruto finally being able to see everything that's going on around them would let's say that Orochimaru and all of the people that were there had these glasses that were able to see in the dark or something like that, right? That makes more sense, because that way Naruto can copy it and it would make less sense for a technique to be in use. Yeah, by the way guys, just in case you guys haven't noticed, I'm kind of just making this up on the spot as a weird fight that I've never done before. Why? Because I mean, I get kind of bored of covering the same Chunin exams every time. This just seems like a little bit of a breath of fresh air for me, and to be honest, I kind of need that. Anyways, moving on. What pretty much ended up taking place is that Naruto, now slightly being able to see, would actually realize that there was a gigantic snake rushing at him that was about to actually clasp its jaws onto him. But Naruto, seeing all of this take place, would realize that that thing would be using a technique, Sage Mode, and the second that Naruto would realize that, Naruto would tap into the power of Sage Mode itself, as Naruto would blitz towards the direction of the Sound Genin, taking them all out mercilessly. As he rushes back towards the direction of Kimimaru, who currently was the second strongest fighter in that area, you would just have Tayuya using her flute to try to get Naruto into a genjutsu, but Naruto, realizing what the genjutsu's properties are after having copied it and snapping out of it, would have pretty much ended up negating it, because he understands how it works. And so what would pretty much end up taking place is that Naruto, being on the back foot and being very, very heavily damaged, his wounds would start healing. All of these bones that were in his body, Naruto starts yanking them out as he rushes towards the direction of Kimimaru, and with one fell swoop, Naruto would slam a Rasengan into his stomach, sending him crashing by, as Kimimaru would have tried using bones to shield himself, but the bones would have been shattered by the Rasengan, as Naruto, turning towards the direction of everybody else, would quickly activate the fourth gate, as Naruto would quickly tap into the power of the fourth gate, Sage Mode, and Kurama's two-tailed state, which would lead to a weird corrupted snake Sage Mode version that Naruto would be using in this moment. Blitzing towards the direction of everybody around him, Naruto would decapitate them, cut their arms off. Naruto would slash them in half with the Ith sword, as Naruto would be completely merciless, knowing that if he doesn't kill them instantly, they're gonna kill him. In fact, he was close to dying just a couple of seconds ago, and he was gonna be paying them back for that tenfold. So Naruto, finally having taken care of everybody else, would see that Orochimaru would actually summon four cages where four ninjas would come out. Three ninjas would come out. The first Hokage, second Hokage, and third and fourth Hokage. And Naruto, seeing that, would think that it's not a big deal, till suddenly someone would teleport right next to him and slam a Rasengan into his stomach, as Naruto coughs out blood and would go, "What the?" As Naruto realizes That's Minato. Naruto would start using the flying Raijin as well to teleport all over the place, and he would wonder how in the world he's supposed to take these things out. They instantly regenerate. You have to seal these things. But Naruto would remember the training with Jiraiya. Naruto in one fell swoop would use a gigantic fire style jutsu to pretty much destroy most of the snakes that were there, but it would light up the room just long enough for Naruto to throw a bunch of kunai towards the direction of everywhere and start blitzing around with Minato in the air, as both of them would clash second by second. With Minato not wanting to do this but being forced to, Minato would have a teardrop fall down his eye as Naruto would wonder why he's so sad. As this would happen, Naruto would finally take out Minato, as Hashirama would have been using wood style jutsus, forest emergence jutsu. Tobirama would have been using some crazy water style jutsus to catch Naruto on the back foot, and Naruto finally would manage to seal Minato in one fell swoop. Minato's will having been just strong enough to have him waver just for a split second, like a half of a second. That's how strong Minato was fighting this back. And so we would have him sealed as Naruto would blitz towards the direction of Hashirama and Tobirama, blitzing them as well and sealing them, as Naruto, turning towards Orochimaru, who was the last one in the game, would say, "You're dead, Snake Man," as he would blitz towards him and seal him inside of a jutsu where Orochimaru was just not escaping from. I know that normally every time that someone gets killed, it's by like death or something like that, but in this specific time, Naruto straight up just killed them in this way. Oh, also might I mention one of the actual I think it was the spider guy. Naruto would have used his chakra sapping technique to place his hand on his neck and sap all of his chakra out of him, using that same chakra to kill his own teammates. And Naruto would have obliterated everything, now standing face to face with Manda, who was the last pawn left, who would not look at Naruto with fear, but rather with admiration. He would say, "You killed the snake and all of his pawns. He's been a thorn in my side for years, so you can go." Naruto in this moment would say, "I think you're mistaken. You tried to help him kill me. You're gonna die as well." As Naruto proceeds to wipe Manda off of the face of the earth and destroy Yuruichi Cave in its entirety with the massive tailed beast bomb that Naruto would have used thanks to Kurama. After this would happen, Naruto would pretty much teleport back towards the village and arrive right in the center of the Chunin exams, where at this moment, like all of that would have just happened, Naruto would arrive midway through Gaara and Sasuke's bat. Look, right as Gaara was freaking out, he'd be covered in blood. Naruto's eyes would be a different color. His body would be secreting sweat and making his skin look red due to the nature of how, the jutsu itself works for the fourth gates. As Naruto, falling onto one knee, would catch Sasuke's Chidori on the other hand and put his hand on Gaara's sand shield, as Gaara's sand shield would go down in its entirety, and Naruto, holding one hand out, would use a jutsu that would instantly knock Gaara out, putting him to sleep. In this moment, we would just have Naruto turning towards Sasuke as he would say, "It's over," and fall down onto one knee. As Sasuke, seeing this and seeing the state Naruto was in, would be angry but then wonder what the heck happened. In this moment, you would just see Naruto wake up a couple of minutes later as he would tell Hiruzen everything that happened, how Orochimaru would try to kill him and nearly actually succeeded. That was the closest Naruto had ever been to death, and Naruto could swear he had seen his life flash before his eyes. Naruto promises never to let something like that happen again, and then we would have a moment where Jiraiya would actually end up entering the room to check up on Naruto, who would simply tell him he's fine now thanks to the Nine Tails, as it would be in this moment that Naruto would have actually ended up having a bit of an understanding with the Nine Tails, because after all of this time, Naruto definitely has had more encounters with the Nine Tails, and it's to the point where even though the Nine Tails doesn't like Naruto, they kind of have a bit of a I don't hate you that much kind of thing. You know what I mean? And so after this would happen, we wouldn't get a 3-year training journey with Jiraiya, because Naruto could probably just learn more by or actually maybe he might, because by doing that he could go explore the world and stuff like that and learn jutsu from different clans and techniques and stuff like that. And so that's exactly what Naruto would do. Over the course of all of these years, Naruto would do exactly that and grow more and more powerful by the day, which eventually would lead Naruto to practically almost learning every single jutsu there is in the world. 1,000 jutsu Kakashi would practically be nothing to Naruto, and by the time that he would return to the village, Naruto would be so unbelievably busted that it would not even be funny. Like recently, Swag dropped a video called Naruto with every jutsu versus Goku with every technique versus Luffy with every devil fruit. Like the Naruto that you guys would pretty much see Swag describe in that video with all of those busted techniques would be the Naruto that we would get in this timeline, with the exception of some jutsus. Obviously he's not gonna have everything, but it's just like, dude, what's Toby gonna do? Like, what is Obito gonna do truly other than get himself killed? Because the second that Toby would end up arriving and trying to face off against Naruto and use his Sharingan ability to use his Kamui, Naruto would find a counter for this thing. Like, he is going to find something for it. I just see no world where Naruto with all of these jutsus can't manage to handle Obito. You know what I mean? Like, Kamui is extremely busted, don't get me wrong, and he probably will pose a threat to Naruto, but all of these abilities are just nothing to scoff at. Naruto is just too strong to continue telling a story where it's not pretty much just Naruto using insanely cool jutsus to destroy his opponents. But since I know some of you guys would probably like to hear what I think Naruto would do to his opponents, let's start off with Kakazu, or sorry, not Kakazu, but Sasori and Deidara. How would Naruto face off against them? What I think, or what I would like to have happen, is the second that they would arrive at the cave in order to face off against them, Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke doing all of this would pretty much rush in, and I could see Sakura and Sasuke handling Sasori, with Naruto chasing after Deidara, who would fly off with his clay bird. Naruto doing the same exact thing and chasing after Deidara, who would say, "What? How could you copy my jutsu?" Deidara, seeing that Naruto's copying him, would get extremely enraged before trying to use an overpowered jutsu like the C2, where he pretty much puts bombs in the air and Naruto can't survive because everything about him will explode because he breathed it in. Naruto, using lightning style like Sasuke would pretty much undo the explosion and would use the same technique on Deidara, which would actually end up blowing him up, with Naruto smirking and pretty much thinking to himself that was possibly one of the coolest techniques ever. Like, can we just talk about this? If Deidara had not faced off against Sasuke or had fought Naruto or even Kakashi, I genuinely believe that they would have died. Like, seriously. If it's not for the fact that Deidara doesn't just instantly use that attack, he'd be way stronger than he is. But because he seemingly has this sort of Goku style of pacing himself and not using his most powerful techniques immediately, I definitely see Naruto being able to just completely take him out after mastering that technique, not even allowing him to blow himself up, having killed him with his own technique. After this, I could see him facing off against Kakazu, because remember, Hidan would actually still be handled by Shikamaru, so I could see Naruto copying his heart jutsu, with Naruto thinking that that's extremely useful, and Naruto even copying Hidan's immortality technique. Because I don't see it as like an actual god. I think that Hidan was using some sort of jutsu or something, maybe by using sacrifices. I don't know. Actually, I don't know, man. Is that something that can be copied? I don't know, but let's just say it can be, right? But Naruto doesn't even need it. His healing factor is so busted that, like, come on, he does not need Hidan's weak immortality. But the point is, Naruto having all of these abilities would instantly destroy Kakazu. I mean, a Rasen Shuriken took care of him. You know what I mean? Like, Kakazu's not standing up to this Naruto. What's the next battle that takes place in the timeline? Is it the pain attack? I believe it is. And because this timeline, Sasuke will be out of the village in order to face off against his brother Itachi, I could see Naruto soloing the pain. In fact, the battle would be pretty much way too easy. Naruto has access to hundreds and thousands of clones. At this point, Naruto's easily at the level of the Naruto that faced off against Kaguya. And if you think that a Naruto throwing 100,000 Rasengans at you is not gonna destroy Pain, you're out of your mind. Pain is a dead man. The second that he decided to blow up the village, he died. Like that was all there was to it. Unfortunately, I do think that Naruto not having the same attachments to the village would actually lead to the deaths of all the villagers that died originally, to actually stay dead. So that's going to be kind of unfortunate because you have a massive amount of loss. Like 1,000+ people died, and even more are going to be injured because of the actual like injuries that they received. So here is where I can see them finally going in search of Tsunade, where Naruto, after having found her, would copy her 100 healings jutsu, which now literally makes him unkillable. Like, you literally can't kill Naruto now. You know what I mean? Now he's immortal and he has 100 healings jutsu. Bro, what are you gonna do? And he has the Kakuzu hearts. What are you gonna do to this Naruto? You can't stop him. You literally can't stop him. It's like when I build characters that are this powerful, it just kind of gets to a point where it's like, bro, I made him just too strong, you know what I mean? And so what I could see pretty much happening after this is that we would have the battle with Obito, Kakuzu, and all of the remaining members of the Akatsuki. I could see Sasuke even joining his side after the revelation of the knowledge of Itachi takes place, and I could see a battle where they all go after Naruto, and in this battle, Naruto is just gonna be absolutely destroying each and every single one of them. Like, would he spare Sasuke? That's just one of those things where it's like, I don't know. Because at this point, Sasuke was trying to kill the village, and he wouldn't have knowledge of why Sasuke's doing all of this, you know what I mean? He just knows that Itachi's not here, so he's glad about that, which actually Itachi's Tsukiyomi jutsu actually would have been very useful to him, because he would have been like mentally messed up after having a jutsu like that used on him, and then Kurama would still break him out, but I could still see a fat attack landing on him at least, you know what I mean? Maybe the Totsuka blade could have actually sealed Naruto, maybe, you know, that's definitely a possibility, but he'd have to be fast enough to use it. But the point is, even with all of these ninja rushing towards the direction of this Naruto, I just don't see them being able to do enough damage to Naruto. Naruto using the ability of the 8th gate and the 100 healings jutsu and KCM2 and all of the other things that I've mentioned before would be able to use all of these crazy Kekkei Genkai time stopping busted abilities to his absolute utmost limit and just destroy every single person that gets in his way. Naruto at the end of this story would have reached his goal of becoming the most unstoppable, undeniable, strongest ninja that has ever lived. And Naruto wouldn't even become Hokage. He would straight up just be so strong in the Hidden Leaf Village that for years, the entire years of Naruto's life, there would be perfect peace because all of the villages are well aware that if they try something against that village, they're dead. Like, their entire village is straight up dead. So I could see perfect peace being achieved because Naruto would be so strong. He'd be borderline like the second coming of the Sage of Six Paths, but without the Rinnegan. You know what I mean? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where I can see what if Naruto could copy every Kekkei Genkai, aka what if Naruto had the Lord's Eyes ending. Originally, I was planning on like recording like probably a 1-hour segment for this where I like slowly went into all of the details, but I was just like, dude, like, what's the point? Like, what is the point? Genuinely, what is the point? It just got to the point where after that Naruto versus Orochimaru fight and him having these abilities to just copy everything, it just became a joke. You know what I mean? It kind of just became a Naruto explained video. You know what I mean? But yeah, this is it where I end this series. Let me know what you guys thought about it down below in the comment section. I definitely had so much fun covering it. I'm not gonna lie, like even the first 20 minutes of it, I was actually having a blast, but towards the end, it's just like the dude is just too strong. Like, he's just too strong. He solos the verse, right? But yeah, with that being said, stay tuned for another video that's probably going to be dropping today. Right now I have a lot of motivation, so I might make another video on top of it, on top of this movie, which is going to be what if Deku had the Lord's Eyes. So if you guys want to watch that, go check that out after this video is done. It might be up, but it'll probably be up today, if not tomorrow. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I love each and every single one of you guys. It has been your boy Xehther, and I am out. Peace.